if we can be heard now. Sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties. But as Rebecca was just saying, starting off with some safe picks, Ari, J4, Seraphine, Sivir, all characters that are incredibly flexible, incredibly useful in multiple scenarios, don't necessarily need gold to be useful, or have safe enough game plans and far enough range that they can guarantee at least some kind of cash. And again, Karma, another incredibly flexible, incredibly useful character in a variety of scenarios, can provide great damage, is always going to provide crazy extra mobility, some extra shielding, some nice crowd control. Karma is like the textbook all-arounder support in my head. Like, she can literally do all three. She could be a mage, she could be an enchanter, she could be a like stun bot, she could be whatever you need.
Oh, there's our staple Ash Seraphine combo in the
Yeah,
bot
it
lane. Everybody loves it. The slow comboed with Seraphine's E,
is.
able to get CC so easily, especially when you're playing against a Sivir who can't really block that slow from Ashe. There really
That's
isn't much that this uh, TFF team can actually do right now. The Seal Enjoyers, just yet on their team to this Ashe. Ari should be able to get quite a bit of burst off, but if she doesn't actually land all of her abilities onto the Ashe specifically, it could be a recipe for disaster. We'll see just if they are willing to some other kind of threat to this Ashe out there. But they are seeming to be shutting down a lot of the champions that could potentially cause them issues, such as Shyvana or Nocturne.
yeah,
Nocturne obviously being like the assassin, singular, you in particular
yeah,
champion.
yeah, we've got a lot of X factors banned here. Like, no Pantheon, no Yone, no Garen, no Mord, no, like you said, no Nocturne, no Mel. We're banning a lot of like solo carry or solo anti-carry champions. Um it's gonna make it very interesting.
And
Okay.
obviously, this game is going to be really, really important. Apparently, we were muted earlier, so unfortunately, it didn't go through. But this is the Ember Blaze League. This is their final regular season match, and the winner will be moving on to the playoffs, while the loser, unfortunately, will not stay with us. So, this is the game to be watching for this specific week. Whoever wins will be moving forward. I want to know, because I haven't seen much of the Blaze League myself. I've been too busy focused on Cinder League, which has been, unfortunately, it just finished off yesterday. We had our role rivals match yesterday, which we found out that mid lane is the superior role. Uh, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can't argue with results. But how familiar are you with the Blaze League yourself?
Been covering it for a good couple weeks now. Um and overall I found that jungle is a massive, massive factor in general league play, of course, but it also shines through here. Teams that can really enable their junglers and junglers that can keep cool and like maintain a threat and a presence on the map are incredibly powerful. Also, can I just say these comps, this is some like real 2 seasons ago League of Legends, folks.
Oh
This is
yeah,
this is some 2020 League of Legends.
that's a couple more seasons than just two. I hate to
I
break it to you.
know.
That's 6 years ago.
I'm not old, you're old. These are
Hey,
these are some we are playing very solid front to back on both these lineups. We've got some front line to kind of hold the other team at a distance, try and hone in on their back lines. We've got some kind of mid-range mage that can also provide some CC. We've got an enchanter that can also deal some pretty solid damage and crowd control on their own. And we've got an ADC that, while not super explosive, is really good in extended fights.
it's on both sides as well. It's not just
That's what
on
I'm
one
saying.
particular one. This is like the staple of league
This is
gameplay.
the platonic ideal of League of Legends.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better, honestly. This is just when you tune into a league stream, when you see champions like this, you usually go, oh, okay, it's just this again. Like Ashe and Seraphine, no offense, it's a very standard combo. We're used to seeing it a lot. Victor on top of it, very common, especially because it works so well with the Seraphine. But you have J4 on top of that. You're comboing with Seraphine with J4, with the Victor ultimate on top of that. And the Olaf, not as much. Definitely a good pick by itself. Not traditionally seen with Jarvan the Fourth, given the fact that obviously he cannot go by walls and he is countered by that Cataclysm, since he can't auto attack during his ultimate if he is blocked by a wall. The counter to that is this Ornn presence that we're going to see in this game. That Ornn charge destroys any terrain created by a character, which includes J4's Cataclysm. So when Jarvan uses this ultimate, he's got to be wary of the Ornn's abilities. Otherwise, he's just going to see Cataclysm instantly drop. So look at the damage off, obviously, but it's a matter of how much they end up getting out of it in general, especially when you're versing a Vi as well.
Absolutely. There's gonna need to be some really solid communication on Kamishiro's side to ensure that the front line works together. Seal and Joyous have a much easier to pilot. Vi and Ornn both just want to sprint at you. Neither one of them really care which goes first. And holy, if they timed it right, that is a hell of a CC chain just off of those two. I'm imagining getting Call the Forge God knockup into Orny knockup into Vi Q into Vi. It's bad.
No, if you wanted to play the game at that point, you might be having some trouble. But I feel like that's the reason why the Olaf is here.
Yeah. Kamashiro's just trying to kill you. And flip the bird to CC in general.
And the bird that Ashe might have, we will be seeing quite a bit in this game. That is obviously the bird that you'd be referring to, because what other bird would there be to flip, right?
Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's why Navi isn't
so,
here.
We'll be seeing that later on here in just a moment. We'll be going into the Rift for this first match of a best of 3 series. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
broken dreamer is your mind. All the scars, let's leave them behind. We light the world up now, let us fire in your eyes. To the darkness, into the night. Oh, broken dreamer is your mind. All the scars, let's leave them behind. We light the world up now, let us fire in your eyes. To the darkness, into the night.
Welcome back, everyone. Jumping right into the Rift, we have the Sealed Enjoyers versus Kamishiro. And what a match this is going to be, folks. This is our standard League of Legends game we've got here. Ornn, Vi, Ari, Sivir, and Karma versus Olaf, Jarvan IV, Victor, Ashe, and Seraphine. What are your thoughts on this one?
This might be the first Ember League game I've ever seen where there wasn't like a single flex pick. Like where we haven't had to think about like, oh, is this mage going bot? Or like, oh, this guy could be top or jungle. I wonder where he's going. It's this again, it's nothing. This is not a knock. These characters are stereotyped to where they are because they are effective and like incredibly universally strong in those roles. But it's so funny how both teams just decided to go with like, I don't even want, I'd call it like peanut butter and jam, the most like, let's just play League, man. Let's just do it. Let's play some, not going for anything crazy, no wild team comps. Amazing poke by Goat Theory. Sidestepping that Q and just all that Victor damage.
Yeah, Ari has a little bit of a disadvantage in this matchup purely because Victor has so many abilities that are just easier to land. It's just a more difficult matchup for Ari to actually play. However, obviously, we have seen time and time again that Ari is, you know, a very strong lane pushing champion. And that doesn't necessarily rule her out by any means.
Half of Victor's kit is point and click, which makes him, like you said, easier to pilot. But it also means that, like, he's a lot more flow charty. You know, if a Victor's walking straight at you, you can kind of tell where he has... It's much harder to mix up Victor movement than it is on Ari, you know?
Well, yeah, she's got the extra movement that she has from her R, and her W is the movement speed as well. So, one of the things I want to mention here on this matchup, the Dobbs in top lane with the Ornn. This is going to be the matchup to watch. Obviously, we all know how powerful ornaments can be.
Oh my god.
Hold on. This is an invade coming in here. On to Jarvan IV. Martha is not getting what he looks for here. Or what he wants to see, I should say. But it did look like they actually got the... they stole the Gromp there. But CS differential is still not too much on the side of... Asian just yet, but it does look like they're trying to get even more off of this. Flash does come out from Asian here. Just try to dodge that EQ combo from J4. Not what you want to be using right off the bat is Vi, but she doesn't necessarily need... Oh, the big stun comes out with the punch, and Vault Breaker breaks the bank in this case, giving 400 gold and the first blood to our Vi.
That was just... There are some situations in a lot of MOBAs, but League especially, where the correct answer is to just walk away. And it felt like Marstoner and Goat Theory didn't realize that until it was too late. Like, letting Ari get into that range. And it's one of the things that make Ari so effective. Charm is such a crazy good button to have on this character. Nation, feeling a little saucy, stepping up, really putting hands on Marthstoner. Already got that hammer.
Jarvan was able to steal that Scuttlecrab though. A little interesting fact there. So it's not like it's too much, but it's a lot of health that Marth ended up losing in that little duel, and it looks like they'll also be losing their Raptors in addition.
On the bright side, jungle itself is far less dangerous than it used to be. So Marthstoner, unless he's ambushed again, will be alright.
Surely. I mean, he's already back to, like, you know, just 200 health.
Yeah, he's already gained health, you know? Islamic Samurai floating back to bot lane. Was wondering if we were going to see a roam attempt. But no, we're not getting crazy. The world
Speaking of crazy, though, Olaf getting a little bit of extra damage onto this Ornn, just showing off that dominance. And there's a lot of early pressure that this board is receiving that he doesn't necessarily want, at the very least. Karma getting a lot of poke off onto this duo in bot lane. Big combo comes through, not let level 6 in mid though.
Oh,
Charm does not land, unfortunately, just a little bit short.
could have been.
But we'll likely see
Beautiful.
level 6 here and some kind of skirmish over this Hextech Drake. Both teams have not been very they aren't very lenient on giving away things, as we saw earlier. I'd be shocked to see that someone just hands over Drake.
Oh yeah. Outrage has that first level 6. Ooh, faking it to bait out the cage. One hit the charm. Still get some nice damage out. Go Theory's got to be careful. Doesn't. Oh, there's the ult. Now, dangerous spot for Islamic Samurai. Can't get away from the chain. Should be all right. Just gonna float on back, but it's a dangerous
So
spot
much
to be in.
poke. Sivir is
Okay.
one of the best poking ADCs up there with Ezreal and Varus. You don't want to be in a situation where you're taking up all of that damage, especially with the Karma to boot. You can't afford to take up so much before a fight. And unfortunately, big
There's
ultimate coming out
Ragnarok
from
pop.
this Olaf, able to pop Ragnarok and
Oh!
live with just barely enough health because
The
he chose to
level up.
tough it out, you could say.
I would say the level up and the W keeping Olaf in the fight. Look at that, barely had the mana to cast it. That could have been really bad. But the world keeping up that aggression that we saw from them in our opening little 1v1. For what's worth though, TTF will manage to secure first dragon, second Drake, and Earth Drake up in 5.
Mountain Drake is very powerful here. We love to see that with Orins. Just absolutely love it. Vi in a little precarious of a situation. Ari coming up a little late because Islamic is here for that extra damage. Able to get the secure on the kill as well for the Vi, but unfortunately Jarvan is looking a little bad here. We will see Ornn picking up the kill onto him because he just doesn't have anything to stop him. Unfortunately, again, Ornn just needs to just run out there. We saw a little bit of a kind of just a dart and dash there, just getting out of there. There was a ghost that was available for Olaf there, but Ari caught out here. Seems like they were trying to stop the back. I'm not too sure what actually happened there.
I don't
think
even.
Seraphine
I
ended up
honestly,
catching them with the stun.
I honestly don't even think Outrage knew that Islamic Samurai was in there. I think that was just Islamic Samurai utilizing this Seraphine to the absolute limit, putting on pressure. Of course, League's meta has shifted to heavily incentivize very early support roams, kind of putting supports in a position of a second jungler. And already Islamic Samurai is doing exactly that. A great bait onto Nation.
Watch this Crystal Arrow. Watch the Crystal Arrow.
Oh my god!
Lands directly onto that
like
Karma.
a
Olaf pops
4-second
his ultimate, able to get the kill on the Karma there.
It's enough time. There's the Vi ult coming down onto the Karma. It's just Nation sticking it out. Go Theory trying to get away. The flash from Nation just out of reach. Charges the Vault Breaker. Oh no, the Cataclysm isn't quite enough. Nation healing off the kill. Will manage to hold the line. Outrage there to cover. And that's gonna be Gromp not Gromp. The Void Grubs for TTFS as well.
That's gonna sting if you are playing as QST here. That Ash Arrow coming in so clutch there, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough to actually change the tier of the fight. Karma got knocked out there very early on, but Olaf had taken up so much poke damage early on in that fight that there was nothing that he could do. Victor arrived late as well, not enabling them to be able to get as much value as they wanted off of that Olaf. Olaf having to back up, trying to get out there. Just, unfortunately not the most ideal of situations. Vi ended up getting a lot of value out of Blast Shield. That passive that she gets, the extra little bit of shielding after abilities being very powerful in that kind of a circumstance. We saw just that very last Vault Breaker, the Q that was applied by the Vi there, able to land directly onto Jarvan just for the sake of the shield. She ended up turning around just to be able to get the shield proc off in time perfectly to stop Jarvan from being able to kill her. It does look like we might be looking at a skirmish here in this bot lane. Ahri is roaming down, doesn't appear to know all too much here. Jarvan comes through, looks for that ult, but doesn't exactly have it yet. There it is, coming out onto Ahri. Ahri just dashes right out. Karma unfortunately picked off here, a little out of position. Asher to come out there, as well as Seraphine on core, but doesn't look like there's anything else that's actually going to come through here. Just that Karma and the J4. Two champions who have died a fair bit more than any of their allies, really. Jarvan not looking too hot here, but we'll see. There's definitely still anybody's game to come back from this one, but not looking too hot so far for this J4. That's for sure. A little bit of a skirmish here coming out in this top lane, though. Just Olaf has so much better of poke in this kind of a matchup with that Q. Our undertow here is just so much more powerful in terms of just getting off damage onto that Ornn, as well as the armor shred that it provides is just so useful for a champion. Mountain Drake coming through here, TP from Olaf, coming into this fight, does have Ragnarok here. J4 doesn't have Cataclysm, keep that in mind here. Sivir trying to get through here, is going to get caught out a little late on the peel, but unfortunately Victor does fall as a result. Ahri trying to go in there, trying to get that little bit of assassination that she looks for as our typical mage mid laner, but not able to unfortunately live there. So this Mountain Drake will go to the side of Kamishiro.
A 2-for-1 deal will secure that dragon, the world, and moving top to try and save the tower. Even with those extra plates, Dobbs is really struggling to hang on. There's Enchanted Crystal Arrow. I don't know where that's supposed to go. Ornn is long gone. But of course, QST didn't.
Got a short enough cooldown.
Yeah, exactly. That's an ability you can just fire when it's up. Might be able to find some value. The world trying to widen this gap. If you look at the goal distribution, the world single-handedly, essentially, keeping Kamishiro tied with Seal Enjoyers when it comes to gold.
What's interesting to note is that last fight, the world backed was able to TP into that fight and make such a big, important presence with the Ragnarok, as well as that Ravenous Hydra that he picked up on the back, which unfortunately made it so that Dobbs just would not get value for TPing into that fight. Obviously, you want your team to engage if you like. Ornn is not the champion who needs necessarily items, but unfortunately Goat Theory is appearing to be a little caught out here. We'll see the root coming through with that Karma. Sivir just cleaning it up in tow. So as I was saying before, though, the Ornn, you really need him in a lot of these fights. Oh, Cataclysm coming out onto the Karma, a little caught out, trying to get vision there. We'll see. I don't think there's any escape there. I mean, QST is right there, following it up. Ornn a little out of position. We'll see Ragnarok popped here just to prevent that blast cone from getting away, but not too much that's able to be done there. I'll try this again for the third time. As I was no TP is coming down the bottom lane. Apparently I can't talk anymore. We'll see another fight here coming out.
All shot calling.
Unfortunately, Victor is gonna be able to beat that Ahri in that 1v1 situation simply because he does have that turret. I was trying to say
There's a
no,
full
no.
item on Outrage side. Pops the Soul Rush, trying to take Go3 right now. Can't quite find the damage overall. I am so sorry, Rebecca. Riot does not want you saying whatever you're trying to say. The charm hits, but we're not there for the Q. Oh no!
Unfortunately,
and
that
down.
flash should have been used a little bit earlier, and J4 is going to be able to pick this up. We're going to see it in a
God.
moment. It's inevitable.
Got the charm, but
Yeah.
already queued the QE combo. Very solid from Marth.
However, they did lose Rift Heralds for that.
Yes, they did. They might just lose mid off it. Trying to
Yeah,
respond
most
by
definitely.
chunking.
Jarvan is stuck in that bot lane.
Trying to chunk down that bot tower in response, but it's definitely a slower process.
And
First
we'll
tower of the
first turret
game.
fall.
Oh, there's Marth. But members of Seal Enjoyers are already at a safe enough distance to back off.
That's honestly a very worthwhile trade for the Seal Enjoyers. You get a full turret out of it. You get the value of the gold. Again, what I was saying beforehand was that Ornn needs to be present in these fights in order to have that value that the champion needs. And with Ornn just not coming in, even if he doesn't have items, he still has that CC that is so strong for any champion. The brittle procs obviously increasing CC duration, so not ideal to not have your Ornn in those fights. Ornn needs to have a little bit more of a presence in this game if the world is going to be shut down. However, obviously that is Olaf, so it is a little bit more difficult to shut him down as Ornn. So it's a give and take. We'll see if they choose to go for the XP, or they elect to try to help their team a little bit more than what they finally got. But fortunately for them, they do have a Vi, they do have a Karma.
Now, bit of calm before the storm before next objective comes up. There's a Chemdrake up in 20. Currently, Seal Enjoyers are posturing for it. Nation backed up by Efron and Chrome.
Chrome alone has been playing so well this game on this Sivir. He's been in every single fight. Is currently 2 items up. Has 40 CS on QST, and just amazing the way that they're positioned throughout this. There is nothing that this team can really do against this Sivir at this point, simply because they are 2k up on this Ashe, which is absurd for any substance. Ornn ending up taking up that crystal arrow. We'll see Vi trying to get in here. Going the Seraphine. Call the Forge guy does come through. Ends up landing on J4 and Seraphine. We'll see Ashe trying to get a little bit more damage off. Cataclysm does come through. Doesn't land on too many people, just for Malone. And there goes the Ashe going arrows after arrows after arrows. Does take out the Seraphine, but unfortunately loses Karma and herself in the process. And honestly, this is just a very Kamishiro heavy fight. I mean, the Vi went a little too heavy onto that Seraphine, and unfortunately it left the Chrome to just fall with Efron in those backlines. I mentioned it before, the Ornn presence is so important, but Ornn wasn't really there until after the Call of the Forge God, which prevented them from actually stopping the kill onto Chrome and Efron, both ADC and support. So there wasn't enough damage at the very least from somebody who I just mentioned was 2k gold up on their opponent. What do you do in this situation? Like, what do you focus as Vi? What do you think, Blast?
I really think, in all honesty, as much as you can, try and mitigate Marth and the world getting to Chrome alone. Like, that Chrome alone is absolutely the win con. Nice engage from Nation, trying to take out Islamic Samurai. That Karma W still connects. Efron will secure the kill. It's a nice pick to have, but oh no, the world and Marthstone exactly where they need to be, right on top of Chrome alone, and that's the win con. Chrome alone is so
Crystal
powerful.
Arrow did land onto Sivir in that fight. Ended up damaging both Karma and Sivir as well. And I would be shocked if they didn't take Baron here. Honestly. Vi just isn't going to be able to get through. She doesn't have that season desist. And we're gonna see a Baron Nashor at 20 minutes and 15 seconds. It's not... Oh, I spoke too soon. Call the Force God does come through. CC does come through on the Ornn, but not late enough. Unfortunately, Vi does take out that Olaf. Not what you want here. Oh, but Ahri does fall here to G4, and Victor ultimates Vi trying to get something out of this one to at least just get out. But the Baron ended up shredding a lot of resistances prior to that fight, which prevented the Worlds from actually being able to get as much value as they wanted to from this Olaf champion. Ended up being a little too early on that one. Honestly, I thought they had it. I really did. I had no idea that this was going to be as close to a fight as it actually was.
Yeah, no, despite that gold difference, it was a genuine trade here. But all of Kanishiro's money is coalesced on the world. He's a much more self-sustaining carry. Oh no, nice reaction there from Chromalone, shielding that enchanted crystal arrow. That could have been very bad. Chromalone is in that awkward situation for an AD carry, for any kind of squishy carry really. You want to ensure that you're positioned and ready for any important fight that might break out, or any pick that you might be able to secure to kind of close that gap for the team. But you also want to make sure that you're still making money, you're still farming, you're still picking up whatever gold you can to ensure that not only you're not falling behind, but you're maintaining the lead that you have. That's basically the entire base of your power.
I feel like Jarvan deserves a little bit of respect here.
Absolutely.
Marstoner came from a 0-4-3 in that early game, and I had mentioned, he's one of the person who had fallen so many times as for the Kamishiro team, but has not died since. Is now 8-4-7 and has the most amount of gold on their entire team. It doesn't look like a lot because Nation does have quite a bit of gold as well. But there is still a 400 gold lead and a 10k total onto this Jarvan the Fourth. The world might be relevant, but if they think that Marth is not, they have another thing coming.
No, they really,
especially
really...
with the Guardian Angel incoming.
Oh yeah. Gotta be careful here. Another tower on the board for Steel Enjoyers. Still, Kanashiro maintaining an almost 2k gold lead. And the gap between Chromalone and QST is rapidly closing. That
which is really interesting, especially since there is a Yuntal on this Ashe as opposed to Hex Optics. Not the traditional that we are used to seeing. This really does feel like this is a game that is occurring, last year. This is not what we are used to seeing in the current meta. I don't know if that's their choice, that they're just more accustomed to playing with the older items. But I mean, it's paying off. It's working. So.
Oh yeah. Who are we?
I just think they aren't focusing this Ashe enough.
No, she's becoming more and more of a proper threat. And while Steel Enjoyers are getting distracted by the world, the rest of Kanashiro have closed the gap.
Ashe actually hasn't died this entire game.
Oh yeah.
She's 1-0-12 right now. So even if
she's got an XP
Ashe
lead.
champion, oh yeah, absolutely, because she was in lane for a lot of that time, just shooting off those crystal arrows. However, the Ashe here is just, it's such a powerful champion, even if you don't have a lead, just because of the CC that it offers, the combo with the Seraphine, and it's been able to enable the rest of their team to be able to truly have the power that they need in these fights. Ornn and Olaf here, keep in mind they both do have TP, possibly going into this Baron fight, but neither one of them are really looking too heavily towards it. Meanwhile, in this Baron fight, we do have a lot of vision control going to the side of Kamishiro. Not the most ideal of circumstances, especially for that Vi, who does have a little bit of required vision to be able to utilize her entire kit. Not as strong as J4 is. You know, J4 has a lot more potentially uh, carefree style because he has that ability to at least back off very efficiently. While Vi kind of has to use her abilities to either engage or disengage if she doesn't have that vision. So this lack of safety that she has on those engages does prevent too much from occurring. We'll see a lot of backs coming through here though. People trying to buy, and gold lead unfortunately just isn't there anymore. The only people who actually have a gold differential here is the world in top lane, with that Ornn, who is currently has the second lowest amount of gold on their entire team, and Chrome alone, who is now only 1k gold above QST for the most amount of gold on their team.
Just constantly establishing themselves as a threat. Now, bit of calm before the storm. The world maintaining pressure bot side. Job's gonna do everything we can to slow this down. But with just how much self-sustain Olaf has, the world is going to maintain a constant threat.
I don't know what you're supposed to do against this Olaf. You kind of just have to let him roam and run around. It's like playing against a Yorick. This guy is so far ahead in gold. 3k. Almost 3 whole K ahead of Ornn, who, again, hasn't been having the best of games, but Dobbs is definitely a champion, a player who will see turn things around. Not too much engaged coming out here. J4 appears to be a little bit too far forward.
Little bit, does have the GA, not the worst thing. Bot time for the world to pop. Gets the axe onto Efron, immediately pops the Cataclysm, but with that enhanced bomb fruit, Efron's out of there. Dobbs has engaged into the main lineup. Outrage also running away from the world, but Ragnarok is down. The axe will find Efron. Dobbs trying and failing to hold the line. The rest of the team is down. Outrage is all that's left of the Seal Enjoyers. They waited, they stalled until the world got there, and the world was ready to tear through, maintain a hold on Seal Enjoyer's backline. Well, if we look at that team fight, both Islamic Samurai and QST did fantastic damage to the majority of Seal Enjoyer's lineup.
Yeah, so what actually happened there, oh, wait, hold on, I can't talk again, guys. There is another skirmish a little bit too greedy there. Unfortunately, does fall to J4 and Olaf. Okay, as I was saying, again, unfortunately, there was 2 different skirmishes that occurred there. The world was going after, I believe it was Efron on that left side over by the blue buff, while we had Provolone was trying to back off to be able to peel for Efron. A little bit too much care onto your support from your ADC, the one person who's ahead of your entire, who's ahead of the entire team. Unfortunately, does allow for a lot of damage and focus to come off onto Dobbs, onto Nation, onto Outrage, people who need to be able to be with the rest of their team. Because there was the Ornn and the Vi in that skirmish over by that river, unfortunately, there was just not enough damage actually outputting onto the Ashe in that team fight, which prevented Ashe from falling at all. Ashe got low, but it wasn't. They didn't actually fall until the very end of that fight. They are the only one here without Baron, but oh, Karma caught out a little too late. Call of the Forge God does prevent Vi from getting picked here, but not too much other than that. It just feels like this whole Seal Enjoyer roster is just playing on their own. There isn't too much team coordination that we're seeing from the Seal Enjoyer the Sealed Enjoyer roster. And unfortunately, we'll see it again. Sivir, the champion, the one person who don't want to be caught out, is caught out again. Seraphine does fall to this Vi, who was just gunning for her the whole game. But Seraphine is not the target you need to be going after, Vi. You're just gonna fall again and again. And Seraphine is just might be picked off, but that's not a worthwhile trade.
Not at all. So maintaining that distance. The world tearing through the bottom side of the map. Towers down, Inhib will follow. Meanwhile, the rest of Kamishiro cutting through the mid lane. Really, I feel like they could end, but they're backing off. Playing it safe. Chrome is up. Absolutely fairs.
They do appear to just be backing off, biding their time. There is 2.5 minutes until that soul point. That obviously does make a very big difference to a Seraphine and an Olaf. So definitely not what you want to be dealing with. You don't want that shield and healing power. Again, Olaf is just such a strong champion to begin with. The amount of sustain he's got, based on his missing health. Also important to mention, Ashe is the only person, besides this Ornn, who has grievous wounds. So the fact that Chrome alone is falling so frequently in these fights means that there's a lot of anti-heal that just isn't being applied. Sivir is a very strong champion at applying the anti-heal because they do bounce with those glaives, but unfortunately, when you die, obviously you can't do that.
Right.
So, 7.2k gold lead. Oh, and the jump onto the Vi. Did not see that one coming with the control ward right there. And Concord only lands onto that Karma, but unfortunately it is enough to stop Karma from living. Ahri is able to get out with that Spirit Rush, and really just Olaf is going to be able to run this one down. Cataclysm does come through. We will see that little counter Olaf ultimate there. But Call of the Forge God does not pop in time. Cleanse does come through for Chrome alone. Not able to get too much out of it other than that, but they are able to continue this push Kamishiro as a result. Oh, big pick onto that Ahri. Marth just saw the open, skidding Ahri of Outrage and just jumped as fast as possible onto them. There was no stopping that. Unfortunately, no charm, no nothing can stop the EQ combo of this J4, and we will be seeing Olaf just decimating this Vi again, time and time over and over. Sivir falling, Karma falling, and Vi just cannot keep standing as the Nexus is destroyed for this Seal Enjoyer team as they fall to a 12.4 gold deficit. Now, there was a lot of damage that was being dealt there.
A lot.
As we can see in these graphs. Olaf is a very relevant champion in that entire game. J4 coming back, not dying a single time after I mentioned them being 0-4-3. So, obviously, somebody heard me.
Let's see, but look at QST. Look at QST. Look at Marthstoner. Even if they may not have been the absolute star like players, they held their own. They backed the world up beautifully. The world wouldn't have been nearly as effective if the members of Seal Enjoyers could actually respond to him. But the constant pressure and the constant threat provided by Kingdom of Cats Kamishiro meant that they never ever could.
Yeah, I feel like this entire matchup comes down to the damage that we see on the Sivir here. It's not as high as we want it to be. You know, Ahri might have had a lot more damage, but didn't have as much of a gold lead as Chrome. There just wasn't enough utilization of that gold lead, despite the 50 CS advantage that Chrome Lone still had at the end of the game. there wasn't too much utilization of that gold advantage. And despite it being the highest in the entire game, averaging about 9.8 CS per minute, not able to do too much with it. What do you think we're going to be looking towards in this next game?
I think, well, it's Brave Draft, so we don't have to worry about what is it? We don't have to worry about the Olaf coming back, but I do think we are going to see a much more aggressive focus on banning out the top side. Specifically a larger focus on any kind of aggressive top laner. Like, we already saw the Garen banned, we saw the Mordekaiser banned at the second wave, but I think we might also get basically any kind of aggressive Olaf style tank. Like, we might see an Aatrox ban, we might see a Zaheen ban. The players know more about what the other side actually plays than us, so they have a much more educated call. But either way, it's definitely going to be honed entirely in on the world.
What do you think Chrome alone needs to be doing in these kinds of situations, and what the Seal Enjoyers can do to help protect Chrome in these future games?
Honestly, I think Chrome fell for the eternal trick of starting strong in a MOBA and seeing that the team is struggling, where Chrome, rather than, it's important to play a little selfishly when you're playing a carry role. You need to ensure that you're making money. And while Chrome Alone CS was amazing, they spent too much time dead because they spent too much time participating in these fights. It's part of the benefit of QST on Ashe that they could provide some kind of long-range global pressure. But Chrome Alone just kept getting caught. If the two options are either Chrome Alone plays a bit more selfishly, and then the rest of the Seal Enjoyers play back and acknowledge that, or they need to really hone in and focus on covering him as much as possible. Because if they do, and if he gets a lead off of kills, that is entirely entirely possible. But it's going to take some extra conscious effort that they just weren't showing this game.
So there is going to have to be a little more awareness that the Sivir is going to have to bring, or I should say just Chrome in general, because obviously they will not be playing Sivir again. And we'll see if there is a nice relevance in the support category in assisting Chrome a little bit more than Efron was able to do on that Karma, despite it being so relevant in other lanes. It didn't really bring
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here. We are ready to go. Hopping straight into the second pick ban phase in our match tonight. What could be our last game. So we're getting ready for game 2. A Kingdom of Kittens Kamishiro played from an early base very well and really honed all in on getting their top laner fed. And now, curious to see how, with Brave Draft concluded and another, honestly, an identical initial ban phase for Seal Enjoyers. Gotta see what will go different. The Ezreal managed to get through. We did see that banned last game. Another very poke-based champion that we're going to see being ran by QST. Who's obviously very comfortable playing that kind of stepped back approach. Seal Enjoyers immediately showing that they are here to play the long game, locking in that smolder.
I thought we were going to see the Lux top. I got really excited there. They were hovering for a little bit.
Hey, it's that the dream isn't dead.
You're right. There's still
You still got
game.
4
And
more.
if Steel Enjoyers really does come back with this next one, we'll be seeing 2 more.
Oh yeah,
2 more drafts possibly coming out here. But
and
you're
Orianna.
speaking of your staple champions though.
Smolder,
Here we go.
Ori.
Smolder Orianna with an Ezreal on the enemy team. This is
I was about to
pretty
say, at least
straightforward.
we're seeing a really new champ, but how old is Smolder?
I don't even know at this point.
That's scary. I don't want to Google when Smolder came out.
I
don't want to do it.
I got you. Just to make us feel a little more aged. 2024, January of 2024.
Oh, real?
Been
What?
about 2.5 years.
That's not true. It can't be.
Look, it came out in season 26. So
Oh, we got a poke. We got a
sorry,
pokey poke lane. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt.
Ezreal with
Ezreal Xerath.
Okay then.
Yo, stranger danger. You stay on that side of the road. And
With
a
the
Maokai. Mr. Peel is here.
I mean, if you're running a Xerath and an Ezreal, I guess it makes sense. That
I
you're
am
getting one of the strongest Peel champions of the game. But
I'm shocked that we're letting. Wow, we are so confident that the world can play whatever. We aren't lucky into. I figured
is
top
this a
lane would be
Maokai
lucky.
top? Or is
I
it Maokai
doubt it.
jungle?
I kind of
Or is
doubt
it a
it.
Maokai support?
Okay, so here's the thing. We're finally seeing some flex. Like that Ambess is definitely
Yes.
top. This might be bait. Honest to God, the Maokai might be bait.
Really strong Mbeza jungle yesterday.
Okay.
Dan ended up playing a really strong Mbeza jungle, ending up winning the role rivals pretty
Handily.
yeah, no, it was very strong performance in that jungle with the
Okay.
Mbeza. So I'm not hating Mbeza jungle here. However, it does look like Kamishiro does think that this is a topic, as they are banning more junglers. But you were saying about the flexibility of Maokai.
One more time.
You were talking about the flexibility that Maokai has,
Yeah. No.
and how we're finally seeing the flex.
Maokai and Xerath both. Either one of them could be support. The Maokai could be jungle. The Maokai could be top. The Xerath could be mid lane instead. And honestly, it works as a fake because, like, I don't think it's the top lane because I really do think the world wants to play like a Jax or an Olaf. Like he wants to play a fighty frontline like character who sustains by staying in the fight. And Maokai does do that a bit, but he's much more of like a peel machine, like we said. He's much more about.
I would love to see Irelia here. I feel like Irelia would be really strong.
Leona. Oh, I think Irelia would be an amazing pick.
I'd love to see her. I think she's a lot of fun.
Just got to be careful. There's some solid CC on Seal Enjoyer's side.
I would also love to see
backed up by Leona.
I would love to see jungle Kamishiro here. If Mirth can play that Xin Zhao, I feel like that could be a really strong pick in this comp. just because it's such
Just
a
the
strong
most
counter to smolder
the most
Orianna.
jungle ass junglers. Okay, so that Xerath is
Yes.
mid.
Interesting.
It's
Rakan picked here as a support, most likely. I haven't seen Rakan mid in ages.
no. That's definitely support. That's an interesting pick into Leona because I feel like Leona can respond very easily and put a stop to his. Like Rakan isn't the
completely agree.
squishiest, but he really relies on being mobile.
That-
There's a Nasus.
Mm,
Interesting.
interesting. I actually want to go as far as to say that this Nasus is going to be in jungle this game. After the performance that we saw from
Okay.
J4 in that previous game, Marth was able to pull off a lot of strong jungle presence. As much as I would love to see it though in jungle, I do think it's actually going to be in top lane. And clearly, so does Seal Enjoyers electing to go with the Aatrox here. Obviously, if Maokai is top lane, that is not the matchup that you want to be having at all. So hopefully, Seal Enjoyers are praying here. Wait, hold on. Is Aatrox in the jungle, or is Aatrox top lane?
No. You talked about Ambessa jungle. I honestly
I
think that's
did.
where the Ambessa's going. So I think that Aatrox is top.
Fair enough. I haven't seen Aatrox jungle in. So
Old. um. And I honestly think the Aatrox is a great pick in Nasus. Well, fuck no. Or
hopefully
sorry,
it's in an ass. It's not Maokai.
I don't.
Otherwise,
I don't know anymore. I'm
again,
Thanks.
if the world pulls out that Maokai, I do think this is kind of over
There's so
for
many
top lane
variables.
at the very least. But I mean, we did see a lot of aggressive plays from uh the world this last game, and even in the 1v1. So maybe they might want to play this Maokai. Who knows? But uh we will see in a little bit once we hop onto this rift here. What is your if you had to pick a team here that you think is going to win this next game, who do you think has the W just based on team comps?
That's really hard, and I feel like, and this is such a cop out. I don't even know, honestly. Both of these teams like are really. I think the fastest early champ in this game is freaking Ez. Like everybody else is really going to rely on getting some items and making some money and playing their game plan. I think
Well,
that
pick
Aatrox.
one.
Okay, I Seal Enjoyers because Aatrox could be really scary if the ball gets rolling.
That's fair. That's really fair, especially with the Ambessa to boot. There is a lot of AD I'm now noticing on this Seal Enjoyer roster. So there's not as much damage variability. Comparatively to Kamishiro at the very least. But Ambessa and Aatrox are both so hard AD champions. Like they build pure AD. They literally don't have any mana that they need to. Oh, actually, Ambessa has mana. I apologize. No, Ambessa has energy. I apologize again. But like these are champions that don't scale at all off of AP. Like they're
Right.
two of the only champions in the game. There's a handful of them that don't scale off of AP, but the fact that two of them are on the same team here, like we're only going to be seeing 80 damage heavy here. Orianna, we saw last game the Ahri was really relevant, but it wasn't relevant enough to merit a lot of magic resist that was built, and we're seeing it again here. So hopefully they'll be able to demonstrate why they need to build this magic resist, why they need to respect the playstyle from Outrage at the very least. But I don't know. I don't know about this one.
It's this is a two team lineup that is very variable, you know? Like everybody aside from some, like you said, a couple of the members that don't have to worry about mana on Seal Enjoyer side are going to need to get their, unless the other team makes some kind of stumble, it's going to take a bit to get online.
I want
And
this
I
mess
think
to pop off.
Oh yeah,
So bad.
I think what it'll take one of the junglers making a really important early gank. Like if they can get the ball rolling either for Smolder or Nasus early, then whichever team gets that boost is in a very, very nice spot.
I think that this Rakan is going to make the difference in this game. Personally, I got to give it to Kamishiro here. I think that they have just a little bit more pressure in terms of like front to back sustain damage, since Aatrox and Ambeza just don't have as much reliability by themselves or in a team fight. Like if you had one of them, that'd be fine. They're not.
Right.
They're much harder to land their abilities all together. But having them both together on the same team, I feel like it could be detrimental, just because of the
Mhm.
amount of knockup that you have from Aatrox. I do think there is more CC on the side of Kamishiro as well, just because there's more. It's longer lasting at the very least. It might not be as strong, as reliable, but like the Maokai route, the Nasus Wither, which honestly isn't going to get that much value here, but the slow is still very much there. And Maokai's roots, just Rakan's knockup, the charm. There's going to be a lot to dodge here, and I don't think Aatrox and Leona are going to be able to, well, dodge.
Right.
But we will see in a little bit.
Yeah. But folks,
As we,
looks like might take a little bit longer for these teams to get ready. Couldn't hurt. Now's the time if you gotta. We'll hit a quick intermission. Hit the grab a drink, grab a snack, hit the bathroom, do whatever you gotta before this game gets rolling, because it could be our last one, and you don't want to miss a single moment. Be right back.
Holding on to words that you said back in the beginning. All along, they stay in my head. I'm feeling you shifting. For you, oh no, I'd be your one and only. Don't let me go. Don't leave me lonely. Say you'll stay through the pain. Say you won't go running. Let me in through your veins. Get off my Say you'll be here when your head starts to clear. When I'm drowning, just say you'll jump I'm here only because your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only because I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, say what you're dying to say. No, tonight we're stars, but we'll fade away. Go on and light me up. Go on and light me up while we're golden. Come on and light me up. Come on and light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down. So before
Welcome back, everyone, to the Ember Blaze League final match of the season here. Now, Kamishiro has come out on top for our first match that we saw just a few moments ago. However, I'd be surprised if Seal Enjoyers did not put up a fight onto this next one. Obviously, the winner does move on to the playoffs, so both teams are really going to be fighting very strong for this coming match. And right off the bat, we're already seeing the amount of pressure that they're trying to provide. Seal Enjoyers really trying to come off with a strong early start, but unfortunately, does look like there is going to be a little bit of poke coming out just because Xerath has so much range in that level 1 engage. However, not going to be as strong in that laning phase at the very least. We'll see both junglers are starting on that top side, going to work their way down to bot, which means both teams are going to be playing for our ADCs here. Obviously, we saw Chrome last game play a lot of CS, a lot of minion pressure, and this is a champion. It's not like Sivir. If you get your CS off, you are going to win the game.
Right.
It's not a question of, if you have the support to be able to back it up, especially when you have a Leona who is so reliable for that engage, for that CC, that I really think that this is exactly what you need. Like I mentioned it before, the engage, whether it's Nautilus or Leona, the Chrome really needs to be able to have that enabling damage at the very least. But what are you kind of seeing so far here, Blast?
We're seeing the world willing to step up far more than I expected. Dobbs currently with that slight level lead going to try. It's the map is inverted essentially. Whoever doesn't have to stack in order to like maintain their power is going to attempt to bully whoever does off of what they need to do. Well, like you said, the Leona is an amazing defensive force here. It's going to make it much harder for the members of Kingdom of Kittens to actually get on and pop Chrome. It does mean that the onus of dealing damage is entirely on Chrome, which of course means that it's not a whole lot of threat without jungle on Seal Enjoyer's side. Of course, it's a good thing that Ambessa is currently bot side. Both junglers are. Just
Not only is
kind
Ambessa bot side, Ambessa is a very strong early game champion. So we can just see based on the clear speed alone, but Rakan getting an early roam here, going to pick off the Orianna, but Flash comes through. Outrage able to dodge that grand entrance.
And the power of Rakan, Islamic Samurai, gets to do that, threaten a kill without having to spend anything of his own. Ooh, nice engage. But there's Ez with the E out. He's A-okay. Again, QSC's playing an incredibly safe character.
Goat Theory really needs to get ahead in this game in order to be able to put up a fight against Orianna. It's a champion that, while they do have the range advantage, they don't have as much reliable DPS.
Oh yeah,
Orianna is a champion that needs to poke, and Orianna is just more reliable.
She can, but she's so much more mobile.
Oh yeah, definitely more mobile for sure. That extra W movement speed. A lot of damage coming off onto the world here. Able to get up 74 stacks already, though, 4 minutes into this game. We're likely going to be seeing 150, 160 stacks per minute, per 10 minutes here, which means we're on our way to a very strong Nasus game, to say the very least. Meanwhile, Smolder in bot lane, they're at 21. You can see their little stack counters directly next to their names on the opposite side of the icons.
Yeah, right above their levels.
But we'll keep you in track for those ones as well. I'm always someone who keeps a close eye on stacks, as I am somebody who plays stack heavy champions
Mm-hmm.
pretty heavily. So I'm always keeping an eye on those kind of things, keeping track on just what stage we are in this matchup. Obviously, Smolder reaching that 25 mark here. Speaking of reaching those milestones of those stacks, Rakan looking to try to get a little bit of heavy roam again. At the very least, trying to get some vision. It looks like they're trying to get some just sights for that Camtech Drake. That obviously we're not going to be seeing another Camtech Soul. Thank goodness. It's a very powerful soul that I'm a huge fan of personally. I remember back in the day when it first came out, we had the camouflage,
the
in
zombie, the
jungle.
camo and the zombies, and it was a whole thing. I will say, yeah, the map effect of Kemsol is so much more fun than it used to be. I love like the enhanced plants. Guess it is just sitting in that bot bush. See, no, fakes the back. He's still considering. Dobbs engaging out of the world, gets some great damage. Neither top laner popping their install yet. Both just beefing out. And look at the damage from those Qs.
I mean, he's already at 136 stacks, but speaking of already, it does look like they're going to be pressuring this Drake already and grabbing it from just... There's no one on who'd be able to help with that. Orianna backed, and Bessa backed. So that's just an early, very definitive take.
Dragon 2 revealed. It's a Cloud Drake, so some extra mobility. Honestly, everybody on both sides would really enjoy that.
Oh yeah. Cloud Drake is one of those things that, you know, if you see it in your solo queue games, it's kind of like, Cloud. But when you really get into those higher levels of play, Cloud Drake becomes so much more useful.
Oh, moves? Good.
No, I was just... I think personally, I really enjoy the item. But again, I also play a lot of those, you know, rundown champions where chasing people is very common. Just, again, when you're playing something like a Nasus, like a Smolder. Oh.
So, you know,
we do appear to have a little bit of a skirmish here, yeah.
Oh, but the Xerath ult coming out. Great damage. Flash over the wall is caught in the oh, there's a bit of miscommunication there.
Right as the Arcane landed onto that Mbeza for the first blood. It does look like there's a little bit more here. Orianna waiting for that shockwave, uses it, and does end up picking off Maokai. Aatrox is the one who actually got the final blow there. Ooh, not a bad Ezreal ult there. Just
double
coming
flash
through,
forward.
and Orianna is going to get caught out here as a result of all of that Rakan pressure that we mentioned a little bit earlier. Leona showed up a little late and unfortunately didn't really get set up for that last fight.
Yeah.
They do reach level 6 here though, so we'll see if they're able to do anything about it.
Leona really relies, like, you could get a cheeky E in lane, but I feel like especially in team fights, Leona really relies on her ults to make an engage. Before that, she's a much weaker character.
Yeah, the True Shot Barrage that Ezreal brings to this game, the right of the Arcane as well on top of that, they're very long range abilities that are just going to be so present in any lane, regardless of where they are in this game. I feel like that's such a big advantage. Like, Mom is the only thing that this Seal Enjoyers team has in terms of extremely long range things. So I just feel like the ability is just too strong to utilize as a
poke.
damage means. Yeah, like Ezreal ult, True Shot Barrage just does damage, and
yeah, it deals damage, has no cooldown, and is constantly getting its cooldown lowered thanks to Ez's passive on Q.
Yeah. I just feel like there's more presence that this team is going to be able to have, and QST is again utilizing those global ultimates, so just showing their awareness of the rest of the map, not just what's going on in their own lane. Oh, speaking of awareness, unfortunately Leona is going to get that stun off onto Ezreal. Combo does come through. Rakan not yet in range, but it doesn't look like there's too much damage able to be landed on QST just because Ezreal has a lot of mobility.
Absolutely. It really is just a battle of overwhelming. Oh, gotta be careful. Yep, there's the double ult directly on top of Islamic Samurai, popping the heal, try and get out. Oh my god, he's alive!
That is your
quickness.
survival ability of Rakan right there. We'll see the quickness coming through clutch to be able to survive
Right to the arcane.
just enough. Oh, it does look like Orianna is going to cancel that ultimate, though. That
Felt like a bit of a panic ult, honestly. He had already canceled the ult by moving forward. I think she just engaged the shockwave as like more of a
I think
threat.
it was precast. I think it was precast.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
I think Aatrox, Xerath was trying to just get a little something off of it, but I feel like right now would be the better time to pop that ultimate. You just had it. Just with that Maokai ult coming through. But no, in that last fight, the Ambeza, we had the Leona engage. She used the Solar Flare, landed onto Islamic Samurai there. The Rakan, obviously very mobile champion. Not what you want to really see as the target of a lot of that damage. Then we had the follow-up with the Nasian ultimate coming through into that fight. The presence that was not exactly expected, on top of Chroma Malone's ultimate as well. So big engage here onto Islamic Samurai again. That Leona E is landing time and time again, but Smolder a little bit out of position, taking up a lot of poke damage as a result of it.
Flare whiff.
It has to back off. So we'll
Yeah,
see
there
a
goes-
lot of fights here. Mom is called out. Unfortunately, does not kill Marth Toner just yet. But unfortunately, the Smolder does fall as a result of this Xerath. Just that high burst potential that this champion brings to this game. Meanwhile, in top
Where
lane,
you running?
Nasus is just running him down. The world being the slayer
what a
of the
steal
world
from
ender. But the
Nation.
Drake is stolen, meanwhile, in this jungle matchup. What a steal it was as well. Ambeza just going in with that ultimate, getting that public execution landed onto, I believe it was Maokai, actually.
I believe it would
preventing
have to
them
be
from being able
because
to do too much.
yeah, keeping him CC'd so he couldn't smite.
Because Ambeza does actually suppress the champion during the actual animation of her ultimate. So, unfortunately, that means that they can't actually smite. Most champions, when you have an ultimate like that, you're still able to smite while CC'd.
Right.
Unfortunately, Ambeza not so much.
There we go. Look at, oh my god, Kamishiro is just already establishing a much bigger lead than they ever had last game. 3.4k. Everybody on the board is stronger than their opponent in lane.
Well, Kamishiro actually ended last game with a 12k gold lead, so I...
Well, okay, at the very end, you know? Like...
Well, they had a pretty substantial lead for the majority of the game. It was the early game that they struggled with. So we're
Right.
seeing the opposite here. Xerath does appear to be getting a little bit of an engage here from that Leona. Maokai there just to peel him off, stopping that 3-man attack. Ezreal ult comes through just to deal a little bit of extra
Oh,
damage.
no.
The engage comes off onto Ambeza. Maokai looking a little rough here. He doesn't have that ultimate.
Right,
He
the
doesn't have the
arcane.
ability to engage, but Right of the
Oh my
Storm
God.
does. Right of the Arcane, I apologize. Ends up landing on Orianna. A lot of damage coming off onto this Leona on top of it with that Zeke's that Rakan ended up buying already. It's just such a strong item that is able to be utilized by a champion who is able to get in and get out so effectively. Zeke's is like the item on Rakan. It always has been, no matter what version of Zeke's has been in this game.
It's
Rakan
always
has
been great
always
on.
built it.
Also, gotta say real quick, Goat Theory has been absolutely on point with these Right of the Arcane barrages. Like, I think that was... I don't know if I've seen him miss.
Full time, but For
but
the
like
most
when
part,
it matters,
you're
those,
absolutely right.
those 4 perfect shots that we will see an absolute
You spoke a little too
execute
soon.
directly. Well, no, that doesn't. He hasn't missed a right of the arcane shot.
Yes, that's fair. But he did miss a couple earlier onto Orion.
Right, no, I'm messing with you. It's just
No, I know.
getting
I still
absolutely
think
left on.
you gave a little caster curse there.
Definitely, I spoke to.
Unfortunately,
I spoke heinous words.
Yeah, Xerath did fall there to the Mbeza ultimate.
Down, Cubs,
Not
big
able to utilize
dog.
Mbeza ult here at the very least. Aatrox coming in with that World Ender onto the world. We'll see if they're able to end the world with the World Ender. But oh, Maokai
Release
coming in
down.
onto that Mbeza,
Dong.
preventing the smite from coming
Dong.
through. World
Dong.
does take out the World Ender, and
Oh,
Leona
no.
falls on top of that. We're seeing Nasus with 496 stacks at
Oh
15 minutes
my.
into this game.
You were talking about like 160 and 10 or something. Like that's what you
Yeah.
want to shoot for. Oh my lord! The barrier, come on! Oh,
Oh, Chrome
But
Alone
max
also
range.
125 stacks as well, 127 to be specific. That's another upgrade for that Smolder.
it's
I
gonna
love
be...
this. I love this world play. The Nasus is just so strong. I wanted to see this Nasus get so strong because of how powerful it becomes. And Ghost is popped there just to get out, but
I think the world was expecting a gank off that, honestly. Which is
no,
fair.
definitely was. Unfortunately, Mbeza is just currently clearing wolves. It's ironic that the wolf of Noxus is currently clearing wolves, but regardless, we saw a lot of that early skirmish power that the rest of this team has, but unfortunately, the world is so far ahead with those stacks, averaging again. This is 16 minutes into the game. We're up to about, I believe it's 150, so it's 300 stacks per minute. 300 stacks per 10 minutes, I apologize. So, that is 30 stacks per minute, which is crazy for any Nasus player in the world included. I apologize for those who might have been a little confused on what I was getting at in that last fight. The World Ender is Aatrox, and the world is obviously our Nasus right now. It's not as confusing as when you have the World Ender playing against Aatrox, but regardless, we're seeing a big engage. Solar Flare does come through. Maokai ult, he is popped right at the Arcane, landed 3, 4, and 5 onto the Leona. As you said before, not a single one being missed. Quite a powerful demonstration of this Arcane champion. Now, Xerath really being able to demonstrate the power. Oh,
The Wither.
no!
Knobs is gonna
I feel
try,
bad here, but he's gonna get a little bit of help here, but not soon enough.
the
Trinity
world's
Force is
got an
just so
axe
strong.
and everybody's a tree. Oh my! You gotta
No one has
go.
anti-heal. No one has anti-heal to stop this champion from getting the benefit they want. However, Leona does have CC to be able to stop him underneath the turret. Now you
It's
got
something.
Dragon for that. So that's
Bruh.
man.
That's gonna be if Kamishiro can keep this up. That's going to be 3 fire drakes on the Nexus, who's already gutting your tanks for half their health in 1Q.
You need to kite this Nasus out like you saw with Aphron
yeah.
in that last fight. Played it very, very well. Able to get the shutdown for, I believe it was actually, I think it was on Chrome there. So the shutdown did go to the side of that ADC, but we're still seeing a lot of presence from everyone else on this Kamishiro roster. It's just not going the way it needs to go. By the way, I do apologize. The shutdown actually went to Leona there. I thought there that it might have, and I was hoping that it wasn't, because obviously it's
Little
not where you want it
tragic.
to be.
No.
Yeah, but fortunately for the world, they got a lot more value out of that death than they originally had thought. Kill going to the Leona as well as that dragon going to their team.
Yeah, we got some calm before the storm. Gotta do something. The world currently 3 levels up on Dobbs. It's gonna take
The level 15 here on this Nasus, the passive lifesteal that he gets per level, and the extra 3 champion help that he's about to have here in this next fight, just real overkill. Maokai's gonna ult here, yeah, and Rakan is just gonna go in because it doesn't make a difference.
Ender. Knock up in the
Ezreal's
world.
trying to get some credit there, but the world definitely just chunks down. Smuller getting some stacks there. He is at
Oh my god!
62. Ooh, big stun coming through onto that Maokai, able to prevent a lot of that disengage that he was looking for. The world though pops that R, and there goes your Nasus, Fury of the Sands, and on top of that, the Right of the Arcane.
Just when you think
we're
you're
just
safe.
seeing so much Shurima here. Just
Yeah.
the world taking up tower shot after tower shot as well, over and over again. Outrage is in that bot lane, is getting a lot of pressure onto those turrets. But just how much is just not enough to really merit all too much here. It doesn't even get the full either Shadow Flame or
They can't get the full buy.
yeah.
He has back out here. Ooh,
Storm Surge, that's the
perfectly
other.
timed getting away
Storm Surge,
from that command black hole. I can't quite remember what Orianna ult's called.
A Shockwave.
There you go. I wasn't sure if it was Shockwave or that was her like just damage pulse. I think that's just called pulse.
You're thinking of Dissidence. I'm sorry. I've been watching Professional League for ages, so Orianna ability names just kind of come naturally since she's always a relevant. Oh, Solar Flare does
wow,
this.
that's petty.
That was cocky. That was such a big ego play from this Leona. I mean, had it landed, that would have been amazing. But
Oh yeah.
I don't think it would have done as much as they wanted it.
I think QST still would have gotten out. He has flash. He's Ezreal, so like he has 2
Yeah.
flashes.
And Rakan was right there too.
Although I gotta say, with how short of a cooldown Solar Flare is, Solar Flare for like flash is absolutely worth it.
Absolutely, for sure. But the fact that it didn't land though is just unfortunate.
Tragic.
We still do not have anti-heal on the... Oh, Shockwave is popped here. On the world, a little questionable of an option there. But we are going to see Chromalo trying to get a little bit more out onto the world, but he is just tanking shot after shot. The anti-heal, the one person who's got
he
anti-heal
executes
is
online.
DBS, but 228 stacks are hit for the Smolder, and the execute pops the world. And all of a sudden, this game might just turn. Baron will go to the side of Kamishiro here, but honestly, this Smolder is going to turn this game around single-handedly, simply because they are the only person right now who is able to be far enough ahead to be a presence, and it's going to allow Ember to also be farther ahead as well. Right there, Kane is popped here, trying to prevent that Drake from being fallen. Smite does come through before Ember ends up falling, but the Right of the Arcane does end up killing them. Solar Flare trying to get out, being used by this Leona. Does appear to be able to get that slow from the... sorry.
Oh, bless
that
you.
Smolder has. Thank you. But, you know, it's just a couple extra stacks that the Smolder is able to pick up in those team fights just by hitting champions. I do apologize. I'm coming onto a cold here. I might have caught in it from Smolder.
Oh, you're A-okay.
They've just been sneezing so much. It's cover your mouth when you sneeze, man. That's all I gotta say.
Truth.
A lot of the deaths on this Seal Enjoyer squad are on this Ember, despite her being so far ahead in gold, or not ahead in gold, but like ahead of the rest of her team in gold. Not able to utilize all of the advantages since they are dead so much. I just feel like the lethality option here from Ember is not getting the value that it needs to get. However, with that being said, as I say that, the world CC comboed from the Leona, from the Mbeza, from the Aatrox, and down he goes. The cost, however, is the mid lane second turret.
And I think
And
that's the thing. I feel like Kamishiro already understood that this is how they need to play it. Like, if anything, the world is a battering ram. He is here entirely to force the door open and draw fire. And while that's happening, the rest of the team can do whatever they need to. And they're playing that perfectly.
The worst part about all of this is that Xerath is currently 3k gold up on this Orianna. Just a little bit, only a little bit above Chrome here, as the only person who's really able to compete with that amount of gold. Because Mbeza just unfortunately isn't able to do as much as they would like to, simply because of the fact that there is so many tanky people on this roster that Kamishiro has drafted. The advantages of the I can't remember the lifeline item, the name of the lifeline item that Maokai's got. Do you know off the top?
No, the green one. I'm honestly not sure.
I just know it's a lifeline item. I'm sure it's some kind of Chemtech item, but regardless, we're just seeing the mobility this Rakan really offers, able to poke out, just being a nuisance, the standard Rakan play. Orianna in here does have that shockwave. We'll see, most likely it'll be popped here as this Nexus just smash Orianna's face in. The mech does not handle an axe very well, ironically. You'd think Iron could hold up a little bit more, but unfortunately, when you're playing against the world, not gonna have the.
It's a giant magic Shuriman, like, ascendant axe, to be entirely fair.
That's a good point.
Orianna was built by, like, a sad guy in Zon.
Hey, Victor has a name, you know. Actually,
What? No, she was built by Singe, no?
Oh yeah, no, they did. Yeah, she was built by Singe, right? Either way, Victor helped. Victor was there.
Oh yeah.
Because Victor's just there for everything. Because just
He's gotta be. Sign of the Arcane or yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Kamishiro currently just applying across
Speaking
the
of
map
Arcane,
pressure.
speaking of Arcane, we do have Xerath still present here. The world being picked off here is way too far forward and punished for it.
But
I
look at
feel
that.
like they're just blowing the lead that they had before. Smolder able to deal out so much damage onto this Maokai is a little bit too far forward. Xerath will be able to stun him to prevent more damage from coming off onto their team. The team fight, they will show up a little later on this one. But in the meantime, it's going to allow Kamishiro to be able to back off a lot onto this fight. At very least, we'll see the shockwave coming in here. They're trying to set up for it as much as possible, but it's not up for another 25 seconds here. So it won't come through just yet, but Mbeza does. The big kills come out. The Xerath falls. The Maokai falls. And unfortunately, your biggest hitter, which is obviously Nasus at this point, is already dead. The fact that they died in that last fight, way before this fight even started, is so massive.
Oh yeah.
The Knight's Vow was placed onto Mbeza there as well to be able to enable the engage. Ooh! Flash does come through for that Ezreal, stopping the public execution. Was that a shockwave?
That was. I think there was an attempt to try and snipe Ez, but be careful. The world is back. The world has Ghost, and the world has a target trying to run down Outrage. Does have to respect the Smolder. Mom's on the field doing a whole lot of damage. Islamic Samurai does close the gap, providing a whole lot of CC. Down goes Chrome alone, and that's the world's biggest threat, but will get found by Dobbs. Another dragon on the board for Seal Enjoyers, but from behind, the right of the Arcane is barreling down on them. Dobbs is down. Efron will attempt to hold the line, can't bring Islamic Samurai with him. And now the last surviving member of Seal Enjoyers is on the run. They don't have a great wave, but
They aren't going to be able to end here. Just
no.
want to note that they ended up delaying too long to be able to fight this Baron as a result as well. So there isn't going to be too much that's actually gained from this besides that Drake, which I don't even think they actually got here. So all that whole fight really just it does stop tempo, but we're definitely going to see people back up in time to prevent this Baron from being popped fast enough. Since Ezreal isn't there, Xerath isn't there, Nasus isn't there. Heck, it's just Maokai trying to solo a Baron.
Yeah.
Maokai, you are a tree. You cannot solo a Baron of the Rift. It's just not going to happen. I trust Maokai. I don't trust him. Not too much contest happening here, though. Mbeza not close enough really just yet. We'll see if she ends up getting close enough to be able to be relevant. But with the world there, with the damage of 952 stacks, does not seem it's going to come through. Maokai does ult there just to prevent a lot of that zoning, or the just to zone off the rest of the enemies. Nature's Grasp taking a toll on everybody who was not even there to be able to get hit by it. But regardless, not able to be here for this next fight. We are seeing a lot of gold onto Nasian here. We'll see if they're able to do just enough with the Mbeza coming through onto Ezreal. Big Mom comes through onto all the enemy team, and Nasus shuts down Orianna, just steamrolling through everything. But Aatrox still is not dying with that lifesteal that he's got. Eventually, he does fall. Ray of the Arcane is popped here, trying to pick off that Leona, does find her, and is able to pick off just a lot of damage onto Smolder as well. They're forced to back. Smolder wasn't really able to be that present in that last fight just because they were so low to begin with. And unfortunately, that only meant that only one Q of Smolder was actually popped during that fight. I don't think they have the damage that they're looking for to be able to prevent this team from actually ending the game. The world will get executed here, most likely.
Oh, yeah.
But even then,
again,
it didn't even occur.
Again, another case of the world.
Just... I feel like the presence of Shurima was just too strong. You had Nasus, you had Xerath. Smolder was at 345 stacks, but Nasus showing the dominance and prevalence that he exerts onto the Rift with 1,004 stacks at the end of a 30-minute game. For the record, that is 300 stacks per 10 minutes.
Oh,
for
yeah.
those of you who are keeping count.
No,
it's
Big
over
Dog was...
stacks, actually. It's about 340
Big Dog was
that he was at. But
doing his job, ladies and gentlemen. That was disgusting. But that's going to be a very, very solid 2-0 for the folks at Kingdom of Kittens Kamishiro.
I do want to make a comment here, because I feel like the Seal Enjoyers really did put up a really good fight at the end of that last game. It wasn't as definitive as it was in the previous match. The world was eventually able to be shut down with the help of Efron peeling for Chrome and Outrage on top of it, the Mbeza with the Engage. But I feel like the Mbeza Engage was not what they were looking for. They needed the owner to come through first before they could actually get there, and the owner unfortunately was just too slow on those rotations, going in a little late, as we saw in that Drake fight that we saw, like where everybody kind of fell and it stopped all that momentum that they had. The Leona was just kind of alive at the very end, trying to pick off that Rakan with nobody else who was there. So there was just there wasn't a fast enough rotation from Efron. I feel like they were there, but it could have been stronger. There was more potential that could have been there if they were a little bit more present, able to stick with Chrome a little bit more than necessarily going around with Mbeza. But regardless, that was our last game of this regular season. Kamishiro will be moving on, and unfortunately, the Seal Warriors will not be for this playoff match. But I I want to give props to this Rakan. I mentioned it before in the draft. I felt like Rakan was going to be a very relevant champion in this game, and they really showed up. They did not die a
Mhm.
single time this entire game. They set up a lot of that potential, but Marth Stoner, her jungler on Kamishiro, truly the big playmaker of these past two games, enabling everyone to be able to do what they wanted to do on the side of Kamishiro. Time and time again, Marth Stoner was able to demonstrate the ability that they have on the Rift, the macro knowledge that they have to be present for the team fights that they needed to be there for, the timing of those ultimates that really shined through. And I feel like that is what we're going to look forward to be seeing in this playoff run that Kamishiro is going to have. It's unfortunate that Seal Enjoyers will not be following through. They are indeed a total financial failure, like their team entails.
Mhm.
However, with that being said, you guys did very well. This is not a team that really the world, the GOAT, and the Marth just able to be so relevant in this game.
Oh, constantly.
I don't think that there was. I don't think the issue on this team was necessarily a differential in skill. It was just the fact that the presence in that top lane, in the mid lane, in that topside river at the very least, was just too much.
Mhm.
Where Chrome alone was just QST and Samurai played so safe in both of these games that the topside map pressure that Kamishiro had just overwhelmed the bot side dominance that Chrome alone could have exerted with Evron in this last game, especially. But unfortunately, this will be the last that we'll be wrapping up with Steel Enjoyers. And we will be seeing next week coming the playoff run for this Ember Blaze League. This is a six team bracket that we'll be seeing going into this. Both Team 1 and Team 2, the top two teams of this group, which are currently, as it stands, Stunned Gaming Vortex and Mint Gaming Vanilla,